can you give a small introduction of yourself?
So I am a 10th grader from Maharashtra, and I'm a part of different extracurricular activities that are of my areas of interest, and that's how I like to be. I be a part of extracurricular activities in my school,
Mm-hmm.
and then I take care of my academics at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
My extracurriculars are usually on the topics that I'm very interested on, or are on the skills which I really want to improve on. So that's what I usually do.
Okay, so you're talking about the topics, like what are the topics you're interested about?
So I'm very interested about maybe something like analyzing your society around yourself and everything. So for that, because I was interested in that, I was a part of CTS lab for 3 years consistently. So that was something where I was interested in, and even I was a part of code to enhance learning, where I wanted to get to know about how the coding stuff actually works. So I was part of that, and then I was part of these writing sessions because I wanted to improve my writing skills and my poetry skills. So I was part of writing sessions by Pomegranate Workshop, and this is how I usually am. So these are some examples of the extracurriculars which I was a part of.
Okay. So how are you spending your time after Corona, after the whole COVID part has started?
It has been good. It has been a drastic change for us because it was like before everything was physical and now everything is virtual. It was a good change, but we were struggling at the start, but now everything is fine.
All right. So you spoke about the two things. The first was city as a lab, and what else?
Code to enhance learning.
Can you tell us a little more about it? What is city
So
as a lab? Hmm.
CTS Lab is where we get an so we have a team in CTS Lab, and every team goes around the community and observes the community and decides on one specific problem which they want to know more about or want to work more about. And then after choosing that specific topic or research project, we move on to putting forth what we already know about that topic, what are the things we want to know. On those basis we create some hypothesis, and then we use different means like observation, surveys, and etc. To try to prove our hypothesis right or wrong. We try to do that, and by the end of our research project we get to know how many of our hypotheses have been proven right and how many have been not proven right, and according to that we try to create awareness. We just go around with our research projects in school, and we display them to different standards and tell them that this is what we found out. And that's how CTS have worked for 3 years. My first year topic was on electricity safety. The second year
Sorry, on
was on
electricity.
electricity safety in our area, and then the second year was on fire safety, and third year was on public amenities.
So what problems were
And
you trying to solve in these 3 years in your locality?
so in usually all the 3 years we were trying to raise aware, like we wanted to know how much awareness in common people had regarding the law, like the mandates regarding all the three issues. That was something which was common between all the three topics. But leaving that, we tried to use some statistical data, like how many how many are for the first year, like if we are seeing for electric safety, we had electric boards out here, so we used to check how many were in proper condition and how many were broken and how many we think were uh, were good, at what percentage we were thinking that after our observation were in good condition and how many were in bad condition. And then we actually went and survey, we observed, and we categorized each and every electric board into broken, good, in good condition and everything. And then we use the final data to prove our main point once again, saying that maybe we were wrong, saying that we thought 50% boards were broken, but we found out that only 30% were broken and the rest were in good condition. Like that, we prove our hypothesis using the survey methods and the observations and everything.
So once the hypothesis was proved, did you do anything? Like, let's say I observed that in my community this is the problem, and I'll do a project around it, right? I'll have a hypothesis. I'll kind of um, finalize it by going and visiting and talking to people, maybe running surveys. But then after the hypothesis is kind of finalized, or you kind of know what exactly is the problem, did you guys do anything about that in the community?
So after the hypothesis was finalized, then we moved on to getting some expert interviews to know like whatever the experts' opinions on what we found out, or like what was their opinion on the topic and everything. So for the first year we had an expert, and he was just one. For the second year we went to this nearby fire station where we spoke to the main head there. And in the third year, because in public communities we broke down our research to in specific 3 to 2 topics, we went and we surveyed the BMC ward officers regarding the same topics, and we used their surveys to get to know what people were saying, and we compared those analysis. And after all this was done, we went forward and like before we combined the entire research project and made into a PPT and everything, and used graphs and all to like shorten down the information and presented it in our classes. Like we did it for around 4 to 5 classes or 6 classes. Uh, According to that year, we did it in our classes and some other classes which were there.
Okay. So why were you part of this thing called City as a Lab? Like, was it like something happening in your school and you were just interested, or was it something more than that?
So this was one of the projects which I was really interested in, because this was one of the first projects which I initially took up regarding the society. And then I felt that maybe I can know more about the society around me. And then we even thought that we could analyze our society much more better, and we can have this analysis mindset, and we can be like, this is what we thought would happen. But we couldn't understand how little we knew or how much we knew about the society around us. So because of all those different aspects, I thought of taking part of CTS lab in the first year. And then because I liked my experience in the first year, I continued it for the next 2 years as well.
Okay, interesting. I also wanted to know, like when we were talking last time, you said that you really care about the climate issues which are happening around. You're very inspired by Greta Thunberg, and then you also said that you also believe that it'll be really important if our education system is inclusive. So, can you talk a little more about uh, these two things?
I think climate change is something which we have to really talk about and like bring about, because many people what they think is that climate is not going to directly affect them in any ways. It's just like everyone feels that it's just there. It's not going to affect us, or many people, though they know about it, they feel that that's something that they can't do anything about. All the governments and everything are the ones who have to take care of them. But I don't think that's the thing. I think everyone can do a little bit from their side. Maybe plant one tree at least from their house. Maybe I think all those things can add up. And I think climate crisis is something which has been brought up in these past few years by many people, not just me.
What is the problem you feel which is there that people are not taking it seriously?
I think it's the way they have some doubts regarding climate change. Maybe that's how I think they don't consult anyone to know what climate change actually is, and maybe they don't understand it properly. Maybe I think those are the main reasons why most people neglect climate change a lot. But I think that these concepts could be cleared, as now many people are bringing up the talk behind climate change and what it really is, and how everyone is like contributing to it, and what is the impact that we have created in the past few years toward climate change, and what all can be our possible solutions towards it and everything. So I think when we bring up all those different things, then all these misconceptions regarding climate change can be cleared. So
Mhm.
then maybe there could be much more awareness, and then people would not neglect climate change as such.
So let's say, for example, if I have to, like, if I'm really caring about climate change, and if I have to start uh, doing some actions, what can I start doing from today itself?
So I think mainly there could be around maybe the first thing a person can do to fight climate change is at least plant one tree in their like at their house or something like that. It can be any sort of tree. It could be a flowering one. It might be any tree that they personally like or something like that. That can be one. And the second thing is that they can firstly clear their misconceptions regarding climate change and then move on to explain to their house members and everyone regarding the same, because when in your house itself all the misconceptions regarding the same topic are cleared, then you can move on.
The fact that the education should be more inclusive. So, what is your understanding about inclusive education?
So what I really meant by inclusive education was the kind of resources which were available, because for each and every kind of learner, like there are audiovisual learners and there are tactile learners and there are only audio learners. I think not all have the same kind. Not everyone is provided with the resources. So I think that there are only textbooks provided. So for a person who's a tactile learner, the textbooks are great enough. They can like go through it, but for the other two learners there could be something brought up or something like that. Maybe that's where I meant inclusive it is in education system is lacking behind. So I think that that area could be improved on according to the needs of the students. Or it could be done in classrooms by like just showing up videos regarding the topic or something like that.
So, you're also part of some debates around different topics which happen, happen between you guys, and you also take a lot of initiative. Uh, I wanted to ask you why, like, how do I ask this? So why do you kind of, so you also said that you hear a lot of podcasts, you hear a lot of other series which are going on, informative series. So why are you like a part of that? Why are you so much interested into that?
The podcasts or videos that I usually listen to are of the same interests that I have. It might be around science or something like that. So those are usually in the same sector. So I never felt that like just listening to them is something out of my syllabus or out of my academics. I never felt that because they always added upon to my academics, because when you listen to those, you when next time there is a new topic being brought up related to something, that you can always share your opinions and what you have learned from that particular video or podcast from there as well, and you can correlate. When you're correlating, you understand topics much better. So I just get all these informations just to make sure that I'm correlating stuff here and there. So that was one of the main reasons to get into these things.
So like, let's say if there'll be one or two things you would want to change around yourself, around you, what would that be?
So I would like to change those misconceptions regarding climate change, firstly, and then second, I would like to like bring out for like say that discussing things is something which could be done more often, because that's how many misconceptions and different things are being clear. So discussing things is something which I really want to change. There are very little discussion is usually very less in the community. At the school level it might be very high because of like all because of the students and everything, but at the community level it's very low. I would really like to work on that as well.
Great. Okay. All right. So let's say there will be a lot of people who will be listening to you. There will be students of your age, or teachers, HMs, or people who are sitting on the leadership roles and who are actually designing the school curriculum and all of that stuff. So if you would have to give a message to any one of them, who would that be, and what message you want to give?
I would give a common message that just making sure that discussions are being more oftenly held in classes is something which could be done by everyone. It might be about any topic of interest they have, or maybe they can take a random vote from students saying that these are the topics we have shortlisted. which one is something which you want to discuss, and then having these discussions would really help, because each and every student has a different perspective. When a particular when a person or a student has a particular perspective towards one topic, and by the end of that discussion their perspective might change. So I think discussions is something which I would really like to just give out as an opinion, that I think that discussions could be more held.
Okay. You're also very much inspired by Greta Thunberg, right? Like, are you? So she's really very young. So what I want to know is that what might be the reason that at such a young age she has taken that step ahead where she's actually talking about, she's questioning the people in the United Nations, and she's actually, leading a whole revolution around climate change. So, from your understanding, what would have led her to do that? Anything related to her education or school or the way she is around?
I think it's all about how how I just started thinking about climate change. I think that it's because of the people around you. It's like when you know what all is happening around you, then you have a much more better understanding on climate change. Although even I think that the textbooks play a major role, the education system also plays a major role, because from our textbooks you can see that there are dedicated chapters towards green energy and like disaster management and all these things. I think those might have also impacted her a lot, and the way people are approaching neglecting climate change is something I think has been like, those are the two things which I think are the reasons for her to talk about climate change and take a step towards them.
If we would want India to, or the education system to produce more leaders, to have more leaders like her, what should we change, or what are the two or three things you think would be like very much important to create more leaders like her?
I think the extracurriculars could be increased, because I think that not many schools have all these like different extracurriculars. Because I don't think that student leadership programs, student leaders can only stand in the climate change sector. Each and every student has a different area of interest, and they want to develop that particular area of interest. So I think there could be extracurriculars which are in different interests and like different topics which cover different topics, and the students should not be like they should have that flexibility to choose between those extracurriculars, and they should not be ever pressurized saying that please do your academics first and then take care of your extracurriculars, or just don't do your extracurriculars just because you're wasting your time and nothing. So in the same time you can do your academics, because I think that academics and extracurriculars can be handled at the same time by a student. So I think that extracurriculars is something which could be more brought up to bring up student leaders in the society and in the Indian education system.